Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into the ticker that still haunts hedge funds, and that is GameStop. Is this stage being set for another epic short squeeze? In this video, we're conducting a surgical technical analysis, dissecting the key levels that could trigger the next explosive move. Now, if you're a part of the GME saga or just want to understand one of the most volatile and fascinating stocks on the planet, you cannot afford to miss this. So, let's break down GameStop. Now, first and foremost, let's begin with the daily chart of GameStop. As you can see, the stock has been overall been in a consolidative zone. And what I mean by this is that we've been seeing pretty much no expansion, and actually we're seeing lower highs and higher highs. This overall shows us that there is still indecision within this name, but once this breaks either towards the upside or towards the downside, we can see intense moves on this stock. So first of all, let's analyze the bullish thesis. As you can see here, I believe that if the stock does break above this area of resistance here, this $28.71 area, which is right here, then I believe that the buyers will be sustained and will be seeing a price target all the way towards the highs of $64.72. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how are you confident that the buyers are going to sustain this move? Well, simply by looking at the technicals. What is the chart telling us, right? We always have to look at the chart and not listen to our emotions or the news, because ultimately that's what leads to underperformance, especially in these markets. So simply what we have to do here is let's look at the longer term averages, right? The 200 right here and the 50. The 50 EMA is well above overall. Now it's getting to be a golden cross, right? We have the 50 crossing above the 200, showing that the longer term trend and the 200 overall longer term trend are starting to be bullish. And this would initiate an upside momentum if the buyers can sustain and break above this level of resistance that I said of around $28.86. As well, we are also well above the swing high anchored VWAP here, this black line, or I'll put it as red to signify there's some selling there. If we got above that, which is here, then I believe that the stock, if it doesn't break this area of resistance immediately, then it will pull back towards this key confluence zone here that I'm going to be circling right here, because we have very important levels matching that zone. For example, we have 1, the 50 EMA, 2, the 200 EMA, and 3, the swing high anchored VWAP here. So we have such a level of confluence or match of levels, it just gives the buyers more confidence, or the institutions to keep adding more money. Obviously, we know that this name has had a very volatile overall history, and that a lot of hedge funds lost a lot of money on this name, right? But we do know here that the stock overall has been seeing some pretty intense RSI, right? We did reach above 75, which just show that there was some overbought levels, and now we're just pulling back. So I do believe that we will pull back towards this level. If not, we can find support again towards this level here, which I believe is going to be an important level where the buyers will defend right here around $22.33. If the buyers do not hold that level, then the shorts will be more aggressive, and all these people that were long here that pretty much, let's say, have their stop loss are going to get pretty much obliterated, and that will lead towards even more downside towards an area, let's say here, the $19 level right here, and even towards a lower level right here towards the $17 level, right? Because these are prior areas of support like here and here. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, what are the upside targets? Well, I do believe, like I said, like I previously mentioned, that the stock can reach its highs here of around $63. And then the short term overall here, we can see that the stock can reach, let's put that as red, just show some resistance. So the stock can reach, first, I believe, the price target of $35.92. And if that breaks and momentum continues, then I believe that it can reach $64.57. Now, this obviously does depend on the macroeconomic sentiment on the stock, and obviously the overall sentiment from the retail traders. But I do believe that the stock right now is clearing some key areas of supply, and the only one we need to clear out would be this level, which would be the $28.77 on GameStop. Now let's cover the bearish thesis, right? Or pretty much the sell side. I believe that if the stock does not allow itself to break above this key area of resistance, and we come back and we dip below this area of support of $22.18 right here, then I believe that the stock will be going lower towards areas of support where the buyers can be found towards $19.38. So around this zone, obviously it doesn't have to be exact, it's just an overall area or a zone. And if it's even deeper, I do believe that the stock has more downside towards a level of $11.98. Obviously, this all depends on how the stock reacts and if the overall demand and supply are shifted, right? This would allow here sellers to take profits, and this would actually lead to an overextension here on the RSI towards being oversold, which we may see an overall short-term bounce, like dead cat bounce, pretty much what we traders call it, which would be something like this. So let's say that we dip below here, see some price action like that, we dip below, and then we keep going lower, but then the RSI reaches an overall extreme low. Then we would see like a bounce like this, and people would think that this bounce right here was a low, and they would initiate a long position. So now we have people or buyers that are holding at this level right here. So we'll put like, let's say like a red, signifying that that's like their stop loss, right? Like the maximum money they're willing to risk, right? So they buy the name thinking that's the low because it's around a key area of support. And then we see this, and then the sellers know this, right? So they allow the stock to go a little bit higher and get those people offshore to pretty much, get them caught off guard. And then immediately what we do is we make a lower high. This would instantiate then that the buyers are not powerful enough and that the supply that's up here is overall absorbing these buyers, and we see like a decline like this eventually over the price action. This pretty much shows here that, like I said, right, the supply is overall stronger than the demand, and we would see this lower high, which would prompt us to believe that this would not be the low, and all these people that had their stop loss, this red line pretty much at the low, are going to get absolutely obliterated, and that will lead to even more aggressive selling, right? And like I said, we always do have in general that bounce, again, and we usually come back and retest that level, and we still keep selling off even more because all these individuals here that were located, and let's say that, they were waiting for the pullback, actually sold their positions to cover and be flat on the position, and that's what leads to the extreme sell-off. So pretty much that would be the bearish thesis initially towards 1938 and towards the levels of $11.98, so around $12 per share here on GameStop. And there you have it. With GameStop being one of the most admired retail stocks in the market, could this lead to another short squeeze? Well, it's only a matter of time. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and as always, don't let the markets whip you guys out. I'll see you guys on the next one.